Joining me now, Republican strategist Kathy Taylor, Democratic strategist Robin Biro, and Heather Higgins, president of the Independent Women's Voices. Heather, let me start with you. You were one of the few people on the right that sort of out the gate said, yeah, Hillary won the debate. Trump could have done better. Are you happy with what you're hearing for the next one?
Well, the piece that I wrote that I think that you're referring to, I wrote a couple, but basically the gist was the same, which is that she won the debate on points, which is what you would expect for somebody who's been through 15 of these and knows how to do it. But he was better positioned going into the next 2 or 3. And one thing...
From an expectations point of view, or... because we heard that going into the first run. The bar's low.
Right.
And
the bar's now even lower. But the other advantage that he has is, if you think about it, his biggest challenge in this was to be less scary, to be more normal, to be presidential. So he was restrained, he was respectful, he was concerned. He did take the bait on some things, but there weren't any things coming out of this that were the sort of fodder that people could jump on and say, see, he's crazy. So he's already well ahead in sort of the meta language of what has driven his campaign so far already.
Although, Kathy, some people are disappointed, some Trump followers are disappointed. Might have spent a little bit too much time on the birtherism issue, even though it was lobbed at him. Might have spent too much time talking about Sean Hannity being his character witness and things like that. So what do you think, particularly when they start talking about Bill Clinton's indiscretions? We know it's an ugly, sordid past. Should that be brought up?
Well, first, I hope Sean didn't have to change his cell phone number because so many people's calling after Trump said, call Sean Hannity. I think it's less...
Surprised they didn't make it an 800 number and make some money on it, yeah.
Business opportunities abound at Fox Business. It's less about him going down these paths on the attack and more about taking advantage of the opportunities that were there. The biggest thing for Donald Trump is to remember, I think, is very simple. Don't answer questions from Hillary Clinton. You can answer questions from the moderator, but if Hillary Clinton puts it back to you, you say what you want to say. He spent too much time answering questions.
What about the notion of not answering the questions from the moderator if these questions are designed to make you look bad in the first place? In other words, there were a couple of times he probably should have pivoted from those Lester Holt questions sooner rather than dwell on them.
That's right, and they were unfair. I mean, he asked him, what, 6 follow-ups, and her... none or 1, was it?
Right. Well, Robin, Hillary Clinton today on her plane, very jovial, very confident, and she was asked about, of course, Donald Trump perhaps bringing up Bill Clinton's long history of infidelities. She chuckled once, she kind of played it off a little bit, but how concerned is her camp about this?
Not at all. In fact, he suggested that the reason that he didn't say that was because Chelsea Clinton was in the audience, but she just gave an interview where she said that that was an absolute distraction from the real problems, from the real issues of this campaign. I just wanted to say that we're delighted that he offered up a buffet of word salad. Unfortunately for him, it didn't have a sneeze guard. And judging by all the sniffling that he did, I think he probably could have used it.
Although if you look at the next day, he was in Florida with 15,000 people there, and she was in North Carolina with 1,800. So, you know, word salad might taste pretty good.
It might taste pretty good.
Put a little salad dressing on?
And of course, you know, not enough polls have come out since then in terms of how much this moved the needle, but there's a sense that it might have stopped this momentum.
A little bit, but on the other hand, again, back to the normal thing. He's not used to debating, and so he was confronted with these challenges, and he went and he responded to them as any normal human being would want to do. He wanted to defend himself. The Clinton campaign knew this, and they provoked them. On the other hand, when she was attacked, she just kind of gave this frozen smile as though she didn't owe the American public any explanation or any defense at all. And that, again, goes to the problem that she's got, where he's basically running an outsider versus Washington insider elitist campaign, and she failed on that one.
She failed on that one. But, again, listen, I feel like Donald Trump in a sense, like I'm a New Yorker, so I'm a serious counterpuncher. You know, I don't start trouble, but if you start with me, it's going to end ugly. That's all I can tell you. And I think that there's a pros and cons to that, right?
That's right.
And you have to find a fine line, because even though Donald Trump is not a professional politician, he's in the final leg of the most important race, political race in the world.
I would go a little less
Absolutely.
with the counterpunch and a little more with the question raising from him to her. There are 5 or 6, I mean, there's infinite, but there are 5 or 6 really good issues to raise about Hillary Clinton. Benghazi, emails, health, economy. I mean, she talks about what she does for women and children as her #1 passion. She has to go back 3 decades to the Children's Defense Fund to say what she's done for them. That's outrageous. There's a lot he can raise to her. That will be effective. Stick
Before
to
I
the
ask
policy
Robin about
topics.
Hillary, guys, I'm trying to nail you down here on this. Should Donald Trump go there with respect to the Bill Clinton stuff?
Not.
Hold on one second, Robin. I want to ask the ladies, should Donald Trump go there? Should he bring it up, or should he keep it on the stage in case of emergency, break glass?
He used it as a way of demonstrating his restraint, and it's been floated by his campaign as a way of getting the media to once again take the bait and run all these stories for him so he doesn't have to say a word.
Which has been a brilliant move.
And it's been a brilliant move yet again in mastering the earned media angle. And remember, it's not about indiscretions. It's about things that are much more serious than indiscretions. At the same time, you know, people keep saying, well, does he have an issue with women? The issues that he raised are utterly defensible. More importantly, people look at how he has his relationships with his wives, with his daughter, with his campaign manager. Interestingly, when he appointed Kellyanne to run his campaign, there was not a peep about the fact that she was a woman. He picks people because they are talented and good at what they do. He's a lot like Henry Higgins, who was attacked by Eliza Doolittle for treating her like a squashed cabbage leaf. Well, Donald Trump treats everybody like a squashed cabbage leaf. It's just it's the same for everybody. It's not sexism or a problem.
Although, listen, it is a popularity contest. We heard that George Bush was elected and reelected in part because he was the guy you could have a beer with. At least you felt that way. Right. So even though we know policy is important, these are the kind of things that the mainstream media can take and run with, and they have a great platform, and they know how to make it look ugly.
But that's part of Donald Trump's appeal. He doesn't speak in bullet points and paragraphs like Hillary Clinton. He speaks like he's at the dinner table. And maybe sometimes that goes a little bit further than one would expect from a presidential candidate, and he needs to continue refining that. But that's also what has endeared him to so many people. I will say, don't go there unless, and there's a big caveat, she raises Bill Clinton as her reference like she did for the economy. If you are running for president of the United States, and I don't care if you're male or female, and you have to refer to your spouse for your credentials, then it's fair game.
Let's not forget, in the first 30 minutes of the debate, she was floundering big time, and she kind of reached out for Bill Clinton on the economy because that is really a sore spot for her. In fact, Robin, you know, for all the talk about bringing up Bill Clinton's indiscretions and some of the ugly things that might have happened with Hillary Clinton toward these victims, she might be even more afraid if they stick to the topics, right? If they stick to policy, if they stick to the economy. By the way, GDP was revised higher today, 1.4%. I mean, if they stick to that, I think she's got a tougher challenge.
Well, I'm more concerned. If you look at the numbers, though, since the debate, he's losing favorability with females. That's got to be in part because he interrupted her 51 times to her 17. That comes across as very disingenuous. It's giving females, I've heard them literally describe that it gives them
But how concerned
PTSD.
are you that real topics might be brought up in this debate?
Oh, yeah. Hillary Clinton is all about the real topics. She's published a book called Stronger Together. It's 239 pages, full of topics. We still don't have anything, which is exactly what Chelsea Clinton said. We have no plan from Donald Trump on how to defeat ISIS. Well,
you're going to have to forgive me, but I'm going to get Kathy's Red is the New Black. That's the book I'm going to get this week. Guys, thank you all very much.